Cheers. Gentlemen, welcome to the first of many Hartford Insurance Talk. Welcome to Artichoke Pizza. It's the new Lloyd's coffee shop of Hartford, Connecticut. I'm looking forward to building this network where we gain all sorts of activity from people in this community, people in the insurance community, to just join us in casual conversations. I think we've all been stuck indoors in our houses for too long. It's time to open up. It's time for a bit of a renaissance for the insurance industry in Hartford, Connecticut. And we're gonna spearhead this. So let's do this.
Because if we're gonna have a renaissance, it should be a renaissance in a bar with beer.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our friends at Artichoke were nice enough to let us steal their space, and they may regret this in a few months' time when we end up taking over this entire shop. But here we are. We're going to do this. So over time, we're going to have lots of people join us for these. This experience is going to grow. Mike Mazzuca from Sinclair Insurance, who's been in the industry now for many, many moons. Sorry, Mike. We go back many, many moons. But on the agency side, certainly very, very well versed in what it takes to best interact with our insurance carrier clients that Luke and I represent a lot of. And so thanks for joining us here today, Mike.
Mike and Luke, thank you for having me.
And I think, again, over time, I would encourage, I hope when this gets out there, I would challenge any of our neighbors here in Hartford, Connecticut, and all the big names that are here, all the small names, I would challenge them to come sit here with us and have a beer, and let's really talk about where this industry needs to go and some of the things that are holding it back. And this is the type of forum that we need to exercise to get that done. Let's face it, within every operation, every agency, there are producers, there are CSRs that are stronger at certain things than others. How do they know who to go to? Who is the person they should be going to for the real story between the lines of the application and the real story that's even between the lines of that narrative that you put out there?
Well, that comes down to building up a great relationship and getting in sync with that carrier. Again, our best carriers, we have a great relationship with them because we've proven time and time again to be transparent. We've proven time and time again to be a true business partner, and that's really important. So it's not an us versus them mentality. This is more about being a true business partner. We want to place the best business with our best carriers.
I mean, can we just start generally? So I feel like there are some carriers that are really good at managing their agency channel, and some carriers that aren't so good. Mm-hmm. Like a carrier that is good at managing agents, like what do they do? Like when you say, hey, carrier ABC is a good company to work for, I love placing business with them, what is it about them that sets them apart?
Well, the first part about it, it's all about communication. So there's got to be that back and forth opportunity to really show what you can do and what in the relationship you have with the client. Now, the challenge has always been, when it comes to working with some of the carriers, is getting that narrative out there. And that's probably one of the important things on the agency side. So the agency has a responsibility to make sure the underwriter really knows what the risk is, what that opportunity is. Then on the underwriter side, there's that constant communication. So we have some great relationships with some great carriers in which it's always a back and forth. It's a true partnership as we're going through there. Some carriers, they're all immediately thinking of no instead of thinking of yes. And what I love about the ones that think yes is there's a lot of times they do say no, but they walk us through it so that when we get to the point, we're the ones actually realizing, geez, this is not a good fit for you. So it's that constant communication that really makes them successful.
Without knowing me, without knowing my reputation, what do they rely on to know that this is something that we should pursue this? We should, hey, this is something that we can trust is coming in from this no-name person. What?
Well, first, it is the relationship that was built with that agency and the credibility built with the agency, with the underwriter, and with the marketing person. That's the first thing. It's about having a track record. It's about having a track record. But let's take your scenario. Because you don't have that track record right now. So even though you have an agency that has good credibility, you still don't have the track record. So how do you build that?
Me as the individual
As the individual producer.
Yes.
You know how you build it? You be as transparent as possible. You provide as much information as possible. Remember I was telling you about having, hey, the narrative is the first chapter of the story, and you want to get them excited to read chapter 2 and then chapter 3. Well, you are going to show them chapters 1, 2, 3, 4 right up front. You're going to give them every bit of information. So again, so they feel comfortable. They want to know exactly what's going on with that business. Because the first thing they'll think of, well, I don't know this guy, but oh my gosh, look at this. They can just read it. And I'm like, I know this risk. I know this opportunity he's put before me. He is spelling it out for me. Listen, there's nothing wrong with making an underwriter's job easy.
So let me ask you this. On the technology side, I do a lot of reminding insurance technology people who their customer is. And at the carrier, their customer is the business person. Because what happens is that they work together so often with the underwriters that they do not treat the underwriters or the business segment or the profit center leads as their customer. They treat them as peers. And they get very comfortable treating them more as people asking for favors as opposed to a customer you need to satisfy. Do carriers treat you, the agent, as a customer of their product?
Profitability becomes very important in this. There's an agreement with the carrier. You have to meet certain thresholds, certain things like that. If you provide a carrier with unprofitable business, you're not going to be writing with that carrier much longer. So you've got to make sure that the business is profitable for the carrier, for yourself, and then of course providing the best for the client.
So we'd like to thank Mike for joining us here today. We thought we had a fantastic conversation, very informative for us. We're encouraged that we were able to get Mike from Sinclair Insurance to join us today. We'd encourage the rest of the Hartford insurance community, come sit with us here at Artichoke Pizza. This is going to be a reoccurring event. We're going to sit here, we're going to talk shop, we're going to have a few beers, and we're going to solve all the industry problems, and we want you all to join us. So thank you.